Hello there, this is Prue, and today is Monday, the 26th of September, and this is the video looking at what is going on in the skies above us for the week ahead. Now, I always say this whenever I'm doing my weekly videos, because I know for myself, knowing what's going on with the planets, knowing how their changes, their journeys can influence how I feel and my energy levels and my emotional levels, the easier it is to flow, to connect to that energy, that flow, which is actually bigger than myself. And I really feel that where we are right now, it's really important to take a step back because last week we had two big influences, two big changes. Firstly, we had the autumn equinox, and secondly, on Sunday, yesterday, we had the new moon. So when we had the equinox, it was a marker into the descent into the darker months of the year. The night has now superseded the day, and we are very much living in the realms of the domain of the night. And that is very much more connected to the mysteries, the unconscious, the dream world. So in some ways, it's about remembering that on some level, our energy field has to realign to a different motivation. And that can feel quite difficult, especially in the world that we live in, which really rewards productivity and doing. In many ways, you may not find that you have as much motivation. You may feel more tired, especially because we've got the new moon energy. Around the new moon, we have a lot less energy because, again, we're called into the world of the moon, which is more about dreaming, imagination, intuition. So what you may notice as we start off this week is that you've got lower levels of energy, lower levels of motivation. It can be hard to kind of get on top of things at times. And if you are experiencing that, please know that it's completely normal, that your energy field is realigning on some level. And the more that you can allow yourself to slow down, the more that you can give yourself permission not to sort of rush through that to-do list and just appreciate that there is this kind of seasonal call to actually go inward, to reflect, to connect to that world of the imaginations, to listen to what your dreams are asking you to do. Because the more that we can allow ourselves that sense of disconnection from the doing part, the more that we can allow the spontaneity, the magic of life to unfurl in some way. So when we had this new moon yesterday, it was in the sign of Libra. And right now we are in Libra season. Libra is a air sign. It's a cardinal sign. So it's one of the leaders of the zodiac. It likes to get things done. But Libra is very much connected to others. It's very much interested in our relationships, but it's representing balance in some way. So what you may be aware of is that any area of your life which is in extremes, which is out of balance, is being brought to your attention in some ways, because there is this surge to bring in equilibrium in some ways. So wherever Libra is in your natal chart, that is very much what the focus is for the month ahead. And Libra is about beauty and harmony because it's ruled by Venus. Now, interestingly, this week, Venus, the planet of beauty, harmony, which rules Libra, moves into the sign of Libra. And this happens on Thursday. This is a really wonderful addition to our week. Right now, on Monday, Libra is in Virgo. Now, Virgo is a sign which is a little bit more analytical, a little bit more self-critical, a little bit perfectionism. So I noticed for myself, like when Venus spends time in Virgo, I've become a little bit more rigid. I become a little bit more of, come on, let's get things done. I'm a bit more on top of the children's homework. I can be less into the pleasures and the joys of life. I can be a little bit more into let's get it done kind of now energy, which isn't always great, and it's not a side that I really enjoy experiencing. The gift that Venus has in Virgo is she's very analytical and she likes to do a job really well, and sometimes I take that a bit too extreme. So actually when she moves on Thursday into a different sign, a sign which is her home ground, she rules it, she's really comfortable. This is where she's in many ways at her best. There is a sense that we can actually start enjoying life. It brings a real boost into the area of our life that Venus rules, because she's bringing more harmony, more pleasure, more enjoyment, especially when we're connecting with others. So that's something that we can really look forward to this week, is that Venus is changing sign. She's coming back into her home ground. And finally, the last thing I wanted to mention is at the end of the week, it's more Monday, I'll be talking about it next week, but Mercury is getting ready to go direct again. So Mercury has been in retrograde since September, I've got that written down, for the last 3 weeks. Mercury has been moving backwards. And when Mercury moves backwards, if Mercury represents communication, it means that at times, we are going back to go over communication, going back to look at anything that's unsaid, unfinished in some ways. There's often something that we've missed the first time around. And this time right now is very much connected to August. Around the 21st of August was when Mercury was last in this position. So have a look at what was going on in your life, what themes, what were you thinking about, what were you talking about, and is there something that you've missed? Because we're going back over that ground to do it differently in some way. And there's often richness that we can pick up, that we can go and find, and then we can move forward. Now, some people would say that even though Mercury is going retrograde on Sunday or Monday, depending where you're living, there is a sense that Mercury is not going to be up to speed really until October the 17th, because that's where Mercury returns to the beginning of the journey before she started moving backwards. I'm aware that I've been waffling a bit. I'm a bit like Mercury in retrograde, and perhaps my words aren't flowing as clearly as they might do. But there is that sense that this is a wonderful time for going back over, to reorganizing your files, to getting life in order in some way before we get ready to move forward and communicate in a different way. So I always think that retrograde, when any planet goes into retrograde, it's a really precious time to go back over in some ways. I know that sometimes Mercury in retrograde gets a terrible rap, that people start saying, oh my goodness, my computer's going to crash, my travel plans are going to go awry. Yes, that can happen. Miscommunication can arise, but ultimately it's our time to just appreciate that we're being pulled backwards rather than trying to race forward in some ways. So I am wishing you a wonderful week ahead, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And just, realize that there is this sense of change going on. And that can always take a little while for us to adjust to that. So if you are feeling a little bit lower energy, lower vitality, just a bit more low, just know this too shall pass. And the more that you can listen to what your inner compass says, listen to your intuitions, stay warm, stay hydrated, the easier it's going to be to navigate this wonderful week ahead of us.